time! 2 hours with the very best podcast hosts in all of the indie podcast verse. It's Andy and Ethan with MMA football.
Again, I don't see coyotes and bears. I don't see coyotes and bears on a day-to-day, but I always get excited when I'm trying to fall asleep and I hear like the owls, and I'm like, oh, it's cool that I live near owls, and I hear and I'm like, oh, it's so like awesome that I hear that.
Oh man, owls are so cool. We got a bunch of owls out here. Sometimes you can hear them real good, especially out here. It's real quiet. You know, a lot of cars on the road, especially late at night. Oh, hell, boonies, super boonies out here. Not as boony as some people, but pretty boony.
And he still uses dial-up, ladies and gentlemen.
DSL, yes I do. So Elon Musk, I'm calling you out. Where's my Starlink, motherfucker? Can I get a replacement Starlink until mine gets here? Come on. He's got to make Benil Dariush's car before he just sends me my Starlink router. But yeah, hopefully later in the let me give you the same time window that Starlink gave me. In the fall, we'll have better technology. We'll have an improved show because in the fall, when it gets here in the fall, I'm half expecting a guy on horseback to show up with a leather baron package parcel, and pull it out of there and hand it to me, and have me sign some ink. But yeah,
with a quill and partridge.
Never paid $100 to get a World War II style delivery time frame. But moving on, shall we talk about Bellator first?
Yeah, we can talk about Bellator.
Now, I watched the main card. So I did watch the main card.
Did you post Oh, you didn't post it in. What the hell?
Did I post what?
You didn't post the Bellator in the notes.
I did.
Bellator, no sir.
I have it up there. I have it pulled up. I have a note.
Well, you have the card pulled up. I'm talking about in the notes, so I can see it. I have Bellator pulled up. This fucking dweeb. Ladies and gentlemen, you guys can't see what we're looking at. We have an Apple note between Andy and I, so we can talk about.
It's actually made of an apple.
It's not made of an apple. In any case, I said what Andy does, so we're prepared. Since we've been ill-prepared for the first few episodes, is he'll go to Wikipedia or wherever he pulls this from, and he'll grab the fight cards from the fight cards that we watched.
I make
so he brought
from
the UFC
scratch.
fight card. Okay, and then so I said you didn't have the Bellator card pulled up, and this motherfucker just wrote, "I have Bellator pulled up." Actually, no, you didn't just write it. This was done at 12:18, and it's now 12:40 as I'm writing this, a.m. Eastern time.
Yeah. Hey, it counts. I was trying. Well, until you decided to pull the veil back on the show, that's why I had it up there, so you wouldn't bring it up, and I would just be like, "Hey, I have Bellator pulled up. He'll read this in notes, and they won't even have to bring it up on the show." But you amounted to do that anyway, so that's okay.
There's no kayfabe with MMA marks.
But yeah, I do have it pulled up over here. So I was hoping that you would see that and do the same. But yes, on to the main card of Bellator. I did catch a little bit of the prelim, not too much. Definitely worth a look.
I watched the last was good. The last fight of the prelim was a good fight. Dude got knocked out fairly quick.
I was just about to say,
love to see a good knockout.
Saeed Awad, who's a UFC veteran, versus Nate Andrews, TKO'd Nate Andrews, dude. Awad, like, it was a death punch. He
was pissed off because
he
was pissed off because you heard Mauro Ronaldo say, like, "Oh, you hate to say that he's a gatekeeper, but in effect, he's a gatekeeper." And I'm sure he has heard that. And no fighter likes to be called a gatekeeper because then why are you fighting? Why are you getting brain damage to be a gatekeeper? You know what I mean? So he definitely, it seems like he took exception to that.
I think the gatekeeper label is, while it might be true in some cases, I also think it's a little bit of an older term. You know what I mean? It's
an older term. It can be a little disrespectful, but it's still valid because there are people that will never go for the title, but are super solid and they choose to stay. Like, for example, like you think of guys like Jim Miller.
Should we do a
Miller's the
top 10
ultimate
gatekeepers of
gatekeeper.
all time?
I mean, I can't think of any because I'm so tired. But yeah, we
I
can
know.
do that for
No, I
another
mean we
week.
should do a segment next week. Top 10 gatekeepers of all
Yeah,
time. Most
top 10.
disrespectful
We can
top
do
10 of all time.
for real.
But
Oh,
no,
are you going to talk about? Speaking of disrespectful, you're going to talk about your man,
so we'll get to it.
Mr.
We'll get to
Fabio?
it. We'll get to it. We'll get
All
to it.
right.
So Sada Wad
right.
versus going back to the fight. Sada Wad versus Nate Andrews.
Yes.
It's a pretty back and forth affair. But up until that point. But yeah, Sada Wad caught him with some really good jabs, and he caught him with a hook, and then Nate Andrews went to turn away, and when he turned around to face the action, I mean, man, he walked right into a fucking straight.
He never
straight right, and it put Nate Andrews straight down. I mean, it put him straight. It was out.
Yeah.
I don't understand why they call it a TKO. It should have been a KO. But Bellator has it listed
he was
as
still conscious, I guess.
KO here. I mean, his
right,
consciousness was in the solar system. But yeah, it was a great fight. If you're checking out Bellator, going back, check that one out. It's a good one on the prelims.
Yeah, there were several knockouts on the prelims. I didn't catch them all because I was working during Bellator, but there were several knockouts on the prelims, and it's definitely, I agree, worth checking out. In regards to the Awad fight, I mean, Awad did not allow him to set himself. He didn't get a proper, like a proper, what's the word I'm looking for? He basically didn't allow him to get settled in. Awad with constant pressure, constant with jabs, hard, crisp jabs, following up. Andrews was constantly on the back foot, I would say, throughout that match. You said it was a back and forth affair. Andrews did land some shots, but I don't think it was as back and forth as you may be alluding to. It was mostly Awad. It was a very convincing win. I wouldn't quite say dominating, but it was a very, very strong win by Awad, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So all right, moving on. I know this fight's important to you. Hannah Guy versus Valerie Loredo. That's your girl right there. And let me say, Valerie looked good. She looked good. She looked good right at the beginning. She was throwing good hands. And immediately it was dirty. Immediately it was a dirty fight. Hannah Guy did a good job putting hands on Valerie Loredo, messing up her timing a little bit. And eventually Loredo started engaging in the grappling, which I found very interesting. And apparently so did her coaches. About every time she walked back to the corner, they were yelling at her, what the fuck's going on? Chewing her ass out. I mean, on live air. They were not mincing words with her. They kept telling her,
which is wonderful.
Do not engage on the. Oh, it was because it was straight honest advice. But for some reason, she just felt to the. She
was gassed too. She wasn't thinking straight.
Yeah, she wasn't thinking straight. But I mean, she just kept engaging in the grappling with someone who's superior than her, and kept putting herself in some very dangerous situations. I don't know. In her mind, maybe she thought the fight was going a different way and said, hey, I'd like to test myself as a martial artist against this person. That happens a lot, but I don't think because it wasn't like a runaway victory for Hannah Guy, but it was unanimous. And especially in the second and third rounds, she really put it on Valerie Loredo. She really made it. Anytime Valerie started to get timing, she interrupted her timing with some just dirty clinch work, and then eventually, like I said, it was almost like Loredo was initiating some of the takedowns, and Hannah Guy was capitalizing on that. You know what I mean? And in the very third round, Loredo was so exhausted that she several times she tried some hip tosses and things like that, and it just did not work in her favor. She wound up getting reversed, and Hannah Guy totally dominated in the second and third round and went on to win a UD. So
it was an upset victory, good clean victory. I totally agree.
Well, Bellator don't want that to happen.
Yeah, they interviewed Coker after of course, like they would do at the post-fight scrum, and they mentioned, Valerie will be back, but well,
that's Coker's just happy-go-lucky, you know what I mean? That's just how he is. He ain't like Dana, fucking fire and brimstone.
Yeah, right. Like, well, I agree with the coach. What the fuck was she doing?
What was she doing? I mean, I don't know what she was. She obviously wasn't playing into her skills and her sets. I think if she would have
the first round, she did it fabulous too. If you go back to the first round, she would hit her and she would back away. And when she got her on the ground, she took a couple shots, and then the coach was like, back away, back away, back away. And then she would back away, let her stand up, tag her again, 1-2, and then back away, have her staggered. And she survived the round, and then she just got away from it in round 2. Guy kind of got her timing herself. She got more settled in, and it disrupted Valerie, like you said. And then round 3, she just fucking I don't know what the fuck she did.
Yeah, no, I mean, round 3, like you said, she was so exhausted. I don't think she was thinking straight, but at the same time, too, hey, that's something she needs to work on, and obviously the ground game is something she needs to work on big time because. There's a lot more talented and it's no shine away from Hannah Guy, but I mean, there's a lot more talented grapplers than Hannah Guy, who Valerie Loredo in the top 10, top 5, she's going to have a fucking problem with. So,
it proved that she's not as ready for the hype as we all want her to be.
Well, we knew, I mean, you knew that, and I knew that. I mean, we all knew that.
She's got wonderful hands, bro. When she's throwing hands, she's got some of the best hands in the division and probably some of the top hands in all of women's, she's 125 or was 135?
She also has a massive social media following for Bellator.
She's gorgeous.
I could see her in the UFC, but if
she will be.
She doesn't if she doesn't get some of these skills improved, if she doesn't get some of these especially the grappling, she doesn't improve in the grappling department, she's gonna wind up in a similar position, you know what I mean, to like a Beck Rawlings, you know what I mean, or somebody like that, where you're only gonna be able to get so far.
She reminds me a little bit of a female Sage Northcutt. Hype, wonderful, like striking, but just doesn't have that next level. I mean, she's still young, she's got time, so I'm not saying she's gonna pan out like a Sage Northcutt, but maybe similar path. We'll see.
Yeah, no, definitely. We'll have to see. I mean, obviously she's still young in the game, and she's got some time to go. But she, the thing is her name is getting big. You know what I mean? And she may be starting to hit her hype prime in Bellator as high as she can go. So she's got to also capitalize on that. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what her contract is. I don't know how many fights she has left. I'm not that deep in the Bellator yet, but we're getting there. But it's overall, I'm sure it's a huge learning experience for her, and hopefully she'll, rally back and improve. And Hannah Guy is obviously not one you want to just show up late to the office for.
Right. Agreed.
So yeah. All right. Well, moving on to Jaleel Willis versus Micon Midonka.
Spell it out.
Medonca.
Midonka.
Oh, I said it right the first time. Wow. So that was it was a good fight.
It was a good fight.
Willis dominated. He dominated. You know what I mean? It wasn't too much. I mean, Micon didn't look horrible, but I mean, it was
his best round was the first round. His best round was the first round, and then it slowly just got a little worse in the second round, a little worse in the third round. And
Willis's pace.
He's a former champion, former LFA champion, so he's got the championship pedigree already coming into Bellator. He looked great. It was a great matchup. I was thoroughly entertained. Like I said, we said it was fairly one-sided, but it wasn't. I don't think he got dominated. It was, I agree, one-sided, and I think it was a great showcase for Jaleel, who's gonna do big things, I think, in Bellator coming up in the future.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good fight. It was a really good fight. Definitely worth taking a look at. Jaleel Willis, you know what I mean? Like with that victory, I mean, I see him getting into the top 10 if he's not already. He may already be in the top 10. Top 5, excuse me. Imagine, if he's not already in the top 5, he should be in there. Which weight class is that? They don't put the weight
170, class. I think, or I think it was 170, 185.
Okay.
They were bigger boys.
Okay.
I want to say 170, but don't quote me on that.
Yeah, maybe he's looking at a title shot soon, huh? I mean, he looked clean.
Yeah, he looked very clean. I'm not gonna say title shot, but yeah, he looked very clean. He's bright, promising, young. He's got all the tools he needs so far. We'll see how he progresses. But yeah, I'm very interested in Jalil. Someone to definitely keep an eye on.
Definitely. Okay, moving on to the co-main. We got Austin Vanderford, who, those of you who don't know, that's Paige Van Zam's husband. And she didn't change her. Did she change her name? Is she Paige Vanderford now, or I think
No,
it's still
I think
Paige
for
Van Zam?
marketing purposes, she's
I
still
mean, her
Van
real name's not
Zandberg.
Paige Van Zam either, but you know what I mean. We're all going.
Oh,
with
it's not.
that.
I thought it was.
No, it's Paige. It's some. It's I don't know. It's a very like American name. It's Paige something, but yeah, she changed it to Paige Van Zam because of
Sansa.
Claude. Yeah,
Paige
because
Sansa.
of I think she actually reached out to him or something like that, and when they did it, when they gave her the nickname, and he was gave the blessing apparently or something like that. May have heard that on a podcast sometime. But the fight, back to itself, Austin Vanderford versus Fabian Edwards.
Good fight.
I mean,
Very good fight.
what
Very
he
good fight.
very good fight. Man, it turned into a bloody affair for Austin, dude.
Yeah,
It
right at the
was
end, he got caught with a couple
yeah,
of elbows, and he was
bleeding.
pouring blood
Yeah, he was the Kool-Aid
like a
man.
seed, bleeding like a seed
Yeah,
everywhere, and it
yeah,
was glorious.
yeah. It was glorious. He was bleeding like the Red Sea. Moses was there trying to get people through the middle. It was
Just
crazy.
swimming that bitch.
Swimming. Oh no, they were trying to walk through the dry spots. But Fabian Edwards, no dry spots to be found. I mean, he was getting blood all over.
Yeah, he caught him with an elbow on the bottom, and it was just like, okay, just like literally like as if you're pouring water into a
Oh,
cup, except it was blood on this guy.
yeah, man. I
It
mean, it was
was
a straight
crazy.
fountain. And but I mean, Vanderford beat the hell out of him. I mean, he just put the work on
The
him.
first round was very close. There was a lot of jaw jacking in the pre fight, so this was a very hotly anticipated fight. First round was fairly close. I I think I gave the first round to Fabian, and then the second round,
I could see that.
Austin adjusted. Yeah, I think I gave the first round to Fabian, and the second round Austin adjusted. And man, he put in work. He started stuffing takedowns, or I'm sorry, the opposite. I'm sorry.
He started getting
Fabian was starting to stuff.
takedowns.
Yeah, he started getting takedowns. Fabian did a
Yeah,
good job of defense at the beginning of the second round. He stuffed
he
a
just
couple
got tired.
takedowns, but then once Austin, yeah, he got tired, and once Austin got him, had him on the ground. He had good offense while he was on the ground. He was eating some elbows, which led to him getting cut the fuck open the third round by one
Yeah,
of those elbows.
yeah,
But he was still putting in fantastic work while he was on the ground, wearing him down. When they got back up to their feet, he had the crisper striking, the clean. Yeah, he is all of the. He's now 11-0. He was 10-0 coming into the fight. He's now 11-0. And he looks all the hype. This fight, and I think they said it on the broadcast, they're like Paige Van Zant's husband no more. That's Austin Vanderford, and I totally can see that, especially with that performance, come gritting through, bleeding like crazy at the end. Um, being able to get there. Yeah, I totally
how
totally agree
crazy
that
would it be if he
it's
signed with the
Vanderford.
UFC?
I don't know, man. I don't. He wouldn't be as great in the UFC as he would be in Bellator. Bellator is the perfect place for him right now. He's got all the opportunities to go forward. He's close to a title shot. Yeah, I think he's at 170. He's very
Yeah.
close to a title shot himself. He was ranked number 3 coming in. He beat the number 4 guy.
Well, I just mean it would be interesting because of what happened with Paige, and you know what I mean. I just think that would be a very interesting situation. And also too because his name is getting bigger and he's getting more clout now. I could see the UFC actually being interested in him. But
Sure.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know. That would be cool. But yeah, I mean, he's got a lot of room to grow in Bellator. I'd say, try to get the belt. Try to get the belt. Try to get your hands on the belt. If you
It's
can
got
get
to
your
be
hand,
next. It's a number 1 contender fight. It's either number 1 contender fight or a belt shot next.
I mean, I
That's
doubt
literally all that's left
anybody's
for
got a
Vanderford.
better record than him, right?
I mean, a lot more victories,
In
but
that
I mean, he's
division. But
only
I mean,
undefeated.
undefeated. That's what I mean. Yeah, he's undefeated. You
He's
could really sell
undefeated.
that undefeated line. You know what I mean? So yeah, get
It's
this
true.
dude a
That's the
belt,
belt.
man. Let's get this guy a championship.
See how he does. Yeah,
See
he's
how he
right
does.
there, bro. He's on the cusp. He's on the precipice.
I've never heard him talk very much, so I don't know like what his character's like. I've only actually seen.
I mean, he was jaw jacking with Fabian. He could jaw jack when he needs to. I think he tries to be humble. I don't think he's a douchebag. He looks like a douchebag with all those tattoos, but he doesn't act like a douchebag. You know,
Because he has
seems
tats makes him a douche.
yeah, man. If you have a neck tat, if he got like the all seeing eye on his neck and shit, bro. Like, I don't know, man.
That does not
If
make
you
you
have
a
neck tats,
douchebag, bro.
it
I
doesn't make you
got
wholesome.
tats. I know so many people who have tats. That's an egregious statement. I mean, who have neck tats.
Neck tats. Neck tats.
Neck tats, yeah, face tat. I know people who got their whole faces covered and shit. They're not
Bro,
slouches.
I feel like I'm liable to judge you as a douchebag. I'm not saying you are. I'm just saying like my first inkling would be like, you're not a nice guy.
Clearly.
Like bro, it's straight up. Like if you have a neck tattoo or a face tattoo, I will judge you and say, oh, I don't think you're a nice guy. You can prove me wrong. You might be, and that's totally cool. But
why
no,
preface someone
wholesome.
with that judgment if you don't even know them?
Just my flaw. I'm not gonna.
That's fair.
I'm not gonna make an excuse.
Just my flaw. It's just my flaw.
Why would I make an excuse?
Yeah. I mean, hey, look. Maybe before I met people with neck tattoos and stuff, I see somebody with neck tattoo, I'd be like, oh, this guy's a little questionable. But yeah, I don't know. I know so many people with tattoos now. I got over.
Tattoos are one thing.
Tattoos
are one thing.
Yeah, but I know people. When I say I know people with tattoos, I mean I know people with a lot of tattoos, not just like one or two here. I only have one or two here, but if I could, I'd probably have more.
No, my girl's got like 4, bro. She got her knuckles, her ribs. What else? Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I'm a huge tattoo fan. Growing up, it was always like, no, you can't. Tattoos are bad. They're not good for you or whatever, and all this crap. And it was always just like, whatever. You know what I mean? Like it's your body. Yeah. Do whatever the fuck you want. You want to pay someone to put some ink on it? Do it. It's cool.
My buddy.
You know what I mean?
My buddy for my
I think tattoos should mean something to you, but some people don't care. You know what I mean? And some people don't think it needs to have that much weight. And if that's what you think, you just want to get like a random drunk tattoo on you. I mean, but honestly, you want to get the Conor McGregor monkey? Talk to anyone? Yeah, exactly. You ever talk to anyone who's got a drunk tattoo and didn't regret it? I mean, I don't know.
My buddy for my birthday is buying me my first tattoo. I'm tattooless right now, but for my 30th birthday coming up in September,
oh god,
he knows somebody at Tattoo Shop, so I'm gonna get the Empire State Building on my calf.
I hope you're gonna be all right, man. You might be a little questionable after that. You know what I mean? People with calf tattoos, gotta watch them. You know what I mean? They're a little wild, especially if they wear shorts.
Yeah, but I'm in Florida, so I mean that's all the time. The fuck?
Oh, bro, you're in Florida. Oh my God, that's right. You're in Florida. Oh man, yeah. You guys got no rules over there. I mean, just a fucking great, straight, crazy house, dude. I hope. If I rule the world, I leave out my thing.
Black diamonds and pearls.
Wow, so we've really gotten off track here.
Yeah, we really got off track.
Going back to the card, I'd like to move on to the main event so we can jump to UFC. Christine Justino, Cyborg versus Leslie Smith. Man,
rape, domination,
it was a great fight, but it was also, it was awesome to see someone like Cyborg, okay, who's been so dominant in the sport for so long and been the champion for so long, then wasn't the champion, got the belt back. She is still improving. I've never seen that strong a grappling from her, and also the weighting, the timing in her strikes. It was all different. She was almost a different fighter. It was very awesome to see. It was crazy to see her not blasting forward and juggernauting Leslie Smith, almost as if she was giving respect to Leslie Smith's striking game. But it wasn't that.
Too much. I mean,
it wasn't that. I think she was just really trying to get her timing down, and she was really just not going berserker. I mean, she literally didn't go berserker mode not one time throughout the whole fight.
No. She was so calm and collected the whole
yeah.
time. Knew what to do in every situation.
Mhm.
Did not get antsy. Did not want to. She wasn't gung ho like I need to finish this girl now. I need to finish her now. Nope. I'll bide my time.
Yeah.
Bide my time. Bide my time. I'm winning. I'm dominating. It's fine. It's a typical night at the office. And then got her at the end with 13 seconds to go in the fight. She fucking stopped her with a fucking brutal fucking 1-2.
Brutal.
And fucking followed up with the follow-up shots. And that was a wrap, bro. It was a utter domination. Like, honest to God, you know, she's not Amanda.
It was
she's
a 10-8 every round except for the first. It could have been a 10-8 every round except for the first. It wasn't, but it could have been.
It could have been.
Honestly.
She's not Valentina. She's not Amanda. But, I mean, she's still a top female fighter in the world. I mean, you know, you can tell she's aged a little bit. Like,
but if she goes and
looking
she
at herself, but
Amanda like that, bro, that's different. She went
Amanda's
in.
A different beast.
Dude,
Amanda's a different animal.
Remember the fight? Cyborg went in and trotted ahead. She went
because that was her style,
berserker style, and Amanda was just like, okay, ping, ping. She was just like, wow, this is a lot. Like you could see it on Amanda's face. She was like, oh, this is gonna be a lot easier than I thought. And she fucking pinged, and then fucking, you know, yeah, she caught one, but it didn't even hurt Amanda. And then that gave her the confidence.
Amanda's a different animal, dude.
She's a different animal, but I'm just saying it would be a different
agree with
fight.
You. This is a
different fight. I'm not saying she'd win. I'm saying it'd be a different fight if Cyborg fought like that. It wouldn't be over as fast. I could see it going more than one round. I tell you what, man, if Cyborg, I haven't been interested in, it's not that I haven't been interested in Cyborg. It's just that I haven't been excited by Cyborg in a long time.
It's not Cyborg. I like Cyborg. I just don't care about the division.
No, it's nothing that gets me
excited about the division. It's literally Cyborg.
It's not that I don't like her. It's not even a man. It's just that she hasn't done anything interesting. She hasn't changed anything. She's been like the same person, you know, the same fighter for a long time, and then she went on this. Well, I mean, yeah, maybe with her. But you know, she's done a lot of stuff like outside of the cage. That's really good, great stuff. But she's done a lot of things outside of the cage that I feel like I was starting to think like, well, maybe this is you know, detracting from her fight career. Maybe she's not nearly as focused. And so it's great to see her come back with improved skills at the age. And like I said, the amount of years that she's been fighting at the top, you know, to see her come and improve skills is great. And not only that,
patience and a ground game.
Yeah, patience in the ground game.
Belt.
Yeah, man.
Patience and a jiu-jitsu black belt will fucking get you a long way in MMA.
And she showed her black belt.
Gained that.
She's never showed her black belt really before. She showed it a couple times.
Never needed to.
But she's never wanted. That's what I mean. She never wanted to. Something's different. You know what I mean? There must have been something's different that she decided, well, let me go and be this Cyborg and not be the crazy destroyer. Like maybe it's because she's older. Maybe she had an injury.
Yeah.
But whatever it was, I hope she repeats it. You know what I mean? I hope she doesn't go back. I hope she continues to do this because this is a much more sustainable career for her. You know,
I was just about to say, like, at the end of the day, one of the things that you want to achieve in MMA that isn't achieved very often is longevity. And you're not going to have longevity when you're a fighter berserker. You're going to have longevity through patience and skills and having, you know, being able to display your power and keep that in check.
Jones.
Yeah, you need to be technical. And Cyborg has now found technicality in her game, which is going to help her tremendously in terms of achieving longevity. There is not a woman at 145 pounds, with the exception of maybe Jermaine Durandamy, who's scared of Cyborg, as we've seen. She does not want to fight Cyborg, which is why she fucking ended up getting stripped of the belt. She didn't want to fight Cyborg. So, but maybe Jermaine Durandamy, maybe Holly Holm at 145, but as a true 145, besides Amanda Nunes, Cyborg is the end all be all. And there's not a woman in that class, I think, at the current moment in time that is going to be able to take her, especially now with this new and more skilled Cyborg. She hasn't had a need to do it before the Nunes fight. She's not really going to have a need to do it in general going forward, except to maintain that longevity. And if that's what she wants, then she's on the right path to be able to achieve that.
Yeah, I mean, no, definitely. You brought up a really interesting point about the Iron Lady, and man, I think I'd love to see that fight.
I would love to see that.
I don't think Durain is. I don't think Durandamy is scared of Cyborg. I think there must have been something else going on for that to happen. That was just the weirdest fucking thing that ever happened to a champion. Besides,
Bro, she won the belt very
besides what's her
convincingly.
face? Who's the girl who won at like 125? She was the inaugural
Esparza?
champion. No,
Esparza.
well then it's 135 or 115. She was the champ. She wasn't Carla. It was the girl who won on the Ultimate Fighter after Carla Esparza, like a couple seasons later, and she opened up the 115 division.
Yeah. It was a Spanish girl, Spanish woman. I forget her name now too.
No, she's Native American.
Native. I'm sorry, my apologies. Yes.
I'm trying to think of her name.
I know who you're talking about. I know who you're talking about.
I mean, she erased herself from my memory. But I mean, other than her, she was the weirdest. That was the weirdest fucking thing that ever happened with a belt. Won and then never defended it, or won it on the show. And
Montalvo.
Nico Montoya. Yeah, she didn't want to fight. She, it would almost seem like she didn't want to fight. What's her face? You know what you mean?
Joanna.
Blame her. No, not Joanna. Fucking other lady killer motherfucker.
Valentina.
Valentina. She didn't want to fight Valentina. Which, yeah, given the skill discrepancy, why would you? But if you're Durandamy, regardless of what happened years ago, I don't think she was afraid. I think something else must have been going on in the background, and there must have been something. Maybe she thought she was taking a stance against steroids, which hilarious. But I don't know what was going on. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know why that was done, but man, that would be a great fight to see, huh? I mean, I honestly think the Iron Lady. I think she can give Cyborg some real problems.
I agree. I like Jermaine Durandamy as a fighter. She's still top 3 in 135.
100%.
She's never been outside of the top 5. I swear, like probably the last 5 years.
The whole time she's been in the UFC, really. She's
even with her hiatuses.
Oh yeah.
Due to whatever circumstances, she's still top 5. She comes back, proves why she's top 5.
And I love her on the mic too. Hey, I don't mind her on the mic. She's great.
She's a good fighter. She's a good fighter.
It's just all around good package.
With everything that happened at 145, it's just her perception took a negative turn. That's why I said her in a negative light.
So Dutch too. I love it. She's like that straight Dutch boxing culture, dude.
Yeah,
that shit. Her and Alistair, and you know what I mean. Like, yeah, it's awesome to see Durandamy fighting again and back. But yeah, I'd love to. This would be a great reason to have some cross promotion type of stuff. You know what I mean? Or hey, Durandamy, fuck out the UFC and go fuck up Bellator, eh? But you never know.
Be the heir apparent.
So Cyborg, moves on. She's dominating, man. Bellator is having the same problem the UFC is gonna have. She's gonna have to keep finding her these big girls. And when I say big girls, I don't mean big girls, but I mean for fighters, yeah, these 145ers, 155ers, and I mean as she get older, I just can't imagine the weight cuts are getting any easier. Cyborg could probably fight.
She came in underweight.
55.
She came in underweight.
See,
both girls came in underweight.
That's another crazy thing. It's just like, dude, to see her do these kind of improvements at this level of her game, it's just you don't see that. You just don't see it in any top level sports. You see incremental level changes, yes, but a lot of times you see after the bag has been after the secret's been let out, you see things happening as you see a la Conor McGregor, a la who's my boy Luke Rockhold, Tony. Even you could say a little bit of Jose Aldo, but not so much.
Nah, not so much.
No. But yeah. So anyway, great thing. Let's move on to UFC. UFC. Let's move on to UFC.
Hi.
Need a break? You good?
Good, bro.
We're in an hour 16. Let's go. All
We're
right.
an hour already?
We're in an hour 16. Yeah. We're more like at an hour because I started recording, and then you did the intro probably at you probably did the intro at about 5 minutes after I hit record. So,
and then we did get sidetracked with random shit with shootings. And
I'm gonna I'm probably wind up editing all that out just so we can just straight keep fight talk on here. But okay, moving on to UFC. Rob Font versus Cardi Garbrandt. Yeah, it was a good one. It was a good one. Real good one.
A lot of decisions, I see.
A lot of decisions. But I want to start off with Court Mcgee versus Claudia Sylvia. That was a great fight, man. Court Mcgee really came out. He really came out to fight. He was different, man. He came out, good in the grappling, good in the stand-up. He was really taking it to, and Sylvia wasn't making it. He was making it a dogfight. I mean, it was definitely a fight, but this was a little bit of a different Court Mcgee. He seemed a little more focused. He seemed a little bit more willing to get to the takedown. Seemed a little bit more snappier on the punches. Everything was just a little more cleaner from Court Mcgee, and it showed in the decision.
And this is what we wanted from Court Mcgee. Court Mcgee is one of those guys who's a precipice fighter where he looks good and then he just has bad moments.
Yeah,
and a great story, and he just sometimes just can't put it together. And this was a fight that he definitely saw the improvements. Definitely looked like he's maybe starting to put it together. So definitely interested in seeing what's gonna happen for him in the future. See if he can build on his momentum after a good fight.
Yeah, and Court Mcgee, he's a guy who's an advocate for sobriety and addiction issues, and he's very open about it. And like I think he said on the pre-fight show, he's like 11,000 some odd days sober, which is great. But he was a drug addict. He was a strung out druggie, and he really had
pills,
was
right?
faced on times. I think it was a lot of things. I don't think it was just one thing. I think he had a problem with pills, but eventually opened the gatekeeper, led to other things. And so Court Mcgee though, so it's just great to see somebody. Not that it's not good to see Claudia Sylvia win, but it's a good storyline. Court Mcgee's been in the UFC for a long time. He's been in the UFC, he's been around, so he's a crafty
proven
veteran of the game. But so it's good to see him improving, like we were just talking about with Cyborg. It's always good to see these vets, especially these guys who've been around, and even the young guys, when they can improve. You know what I mean? You got to stay on top of the game. But it definitely does seem like for a while, I think we were getting on the streak where, it was like you're getting in these guys are talented. Boom, they're here. You know what I mean? Like the Jacares and the Wonder Boys and all this stuff, where you get them coming in from these very dedicated backgrounds, and now you're having the true mixing of the mixed martial.
I mean, Wonder Boy is still fucking sensational.
Man, how much would you pay to see him versus MVP?
I just got to.
I know. I just want to say. Oh man, I would love to watch that fight. I tell you what, I don't even need to watch it in the cage. I'll watch it in the gym. I'll watch it in Geese in a point karate fighting tournament.
Yeah, I was gonna say a point tournament.
Watch that.
In a point tournament.
Yeah. Oh man, that would be great.
Bro,
Wonder
Boy versus Raymond Daniels.
Yeah. Wonder Boy has a podcast. I listen to it sometimes. It's pretty.
Is it Christian? Is it a Christian podcast?
No, it's an MMA podcast. Him and his brother. He does it with his brother, and they go over a lot of his fights and a lot of things, and just in the MMA world. But he went over some early point karate fightings. I think he went over. I think because Stephen Thompson fought Raymond Daniels as well, and they were talking about that, and it's just cool to see. You know what I mean? And then they brought up MVP, and I would love to see it. He said he would love to fight him.
it would be fantastic. Though.
Inevitably, you'll get MVP over to the UFC, and maybe it'll happen. But I'm afraid that it'll be.
I hope so.
But a little too. I'm hoping that Wonder Boy will be at the edge of his career at that point.
He's old too, man. He's like what 40? He's pretty old.
He's 30.
Yeah. 33. No, he's in his late 30s. He's in his late 30s, dude.
He's definitely not.
He looks fantastic.
Definitely not 40.
He's very close, bro. Look it up. Look it up real quick. He's very close. He's like 38, dude. 38, 37. Something like that, dude.
Maybe. I'd be surprised if he was 38, but I mean, he
I'm
looks.
looking it up right now while you talk.
Look
That's
it up
fine.
right
I'm
now.
just
Yeah,
gonna
you go ahead.
I'm gonna look at Wikipedia.
But
Okay.
yeah, yeah, it'll be interesting to see MVP come on over, man. I'd love to
That would
see
be
him
good
in
shit.
some matchups.
That would be good shit. I'm very
I
proud
want to
to.
see him finish in Bellator. I want to see him get the belt. I
Yeah, that would be
honestly
good.
think unless he gets the belt, he doesn't come over as much clout. So, but yeah, going back to Court McGee, yeah, it's a great fight. Go back and check it out. Went all
38,
3 rounds.
February 11th, 1983.
I think you're good with that. Damn. Yeah, he looks really good for 38. Guy looks like he's 12.
Oh yeah, he looks younger than you and I.
He definitely looks younger than me. That's for fuck sure. All right, so moving on in heavyweight, we got Ben Rothwell versus Chris Barnett, man. And if you know anything about good old Ben Rothwell, he's just the good old boy who comes out to swing, and he always brings with him you never know what you're gonna get, what persona. It's always a little weird and cringy, but
he's one of the first guys to really break out of the typical fighter mode and mold, I should say, and have a fight night shtick, right?
Yeah.
Whether it be, I love the executioner gimmick that he always come out with.
His thing he did that one time with the.
Yeah.
Oh, I was just like, I wish he kept it, man. I was like, he should have kept that. What did he say? He was just like, you will never see me again.
Bro,
I'm sorry.
That's some wicked shit that motherfucker smoked that night, bro.
Dude, I know. And then he was almost Elon Musk with the responses, because I remember Joe Rogan was asking him, and he was just like, so what'd you think of tonight? And he's all just like, I just like to say that anybody could get it. I love this dude is on fire right now, man.
I love Ben Rothwell, bro.
I love Ben Rothwell.
Always love Ben Rothwell.
And he came out, man, and he was Ben Rothwell. Wasn't improved, wasn't declined. He was Ben Rothwell. Came out, and he eventually wound up catching Chris in a guillotine choke. You know what I mean? And it was awesome, man. In the second round, and Ben was tagging him as well. I mean, there's a couple spots where I thought he was going to put Barnett out. It was just man, it was a good fight. Ben Rothwell was he always lays down leather, and he was catching Chris Barnett with these fucking uppercuts, man. Barnett kept ducking down. The height discrepancy was favorable for Rothwell for sure, and he kept ducking down. Barnett did, man, and he kept walking right into Rothwell's uppercuts. And even in the post-fight interview, he said, I love uppercuts. You know what I mean? So Ben Rothwell, man, he got it done in big fashion. And it's good to see him. It was a must-win for him. I honestly think he would have been cut had he lost the fight.
One of those old guys that's at the end of the line.
Yeah, he's always been kind of old. You know what I mean? He's one of those guys where even when he was younger in the promote, he was kind of an older guy. So I think it's not as bad with him, because it's not like with Diego or with Vitor where you see, you know what I'm saying? Or even with a Bisping, where you see these guys from a super young age coming to the UFC, and then you see them, not that Bisping's old, but I'm just saying that you see them, you see the age, you see the years, you know what I mean?
Rothwell has always been, he's always been a consistent fighter, one way or the other. He's
exactly
like you just said, he's just Ben Rothwell. You know what you're gonna get.
I love Ben Rothwell.
Nothing changed,
and that's okay.
That's how do you deal with Ben Rothwell? Not,
I would love to see. Even if Ben Rothwell wasn't in the UFC, I think he'd be a great fit for Ryzen or Bellator. You know what I mean? He's
Bellator, they got a lot of old heavyweights though with Bellator. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He'd be a perfect fit.
Land of the dinosaurs, goddamn.
Yeah, land of the lost. So moving on to middleweight, we got Jack Hermanson versus Edmund Shabazian. And man, this is a fucking great fight, man. If you want to watch that might be honestly the most entertaining fight on the entire card. Because I mean, how can you not like Jack Hermanson? I mean, he got so fired up in the introduction with good old Bruce Buffer. You know, Buffer. You know, when a fighter engages Buffer during the introduction, That's makes priceless. Bruce go to a fucking level of like Kamea, and he just fucking loses his mind. And him and Jack Hermanson were, you know, definitely no social distancing. They were like 6 inches away from each other, and you know, Hermanson was just like, yeah, you know, as he was like getting his name shouted in front of all these people. I can't even imagine the high. And yeah, dude, that rush.
Legion of Doom.
I mean?
What a rush.
I got rush. Yeah, you know, such a oh man. Got me
thinking.
But yeah, you know, Shabazian, again, Shabazian was dominant in the striking department. In the first round, he actually was taking Hermanson in the striking department pretty well. Hermanson could not get the timing. He couldn't figure out Shabazian's distance. And Shabazian was showing. But sooner than later, just like in Shabazian's last fight, you know, he found the weakness in the defenses, and it was on the ground, and it was in the grappling. And even though Shabazian was squirmy, man, he did not allow Jack Hermanson tried several times in the second and third rounds to gain the full mount, and he just couldn't. He couldn't pass. He couldn't pass the half guard. He stayed in the half guard, but in the third round, Hermanson realized he did not need to progress. He was simply trying to progress out of habit, and he just postured up and started raining down strikes on Shabazian. And the third round was ultimately the most decisive round.
How did the third round was a 10-8
for Hermanson.
How did this point total happen? Oh, I guess that's why you just said 10-8.
Yeah, there was a 10-8 for two judges on Hermanson in the third. Which
he won. Honestly, you could have argued 27 times 3.
Yeah, you could have argued for the second as well.
Oh, I was just about to ask. I was like, who lost a point? 10-8 makes sense.
Yeah, the 10.
I'll go back. I'll try and go back and watch that fight. I love Edmund Shabazian. I love Jack Hermanson.
Oh, you definitely should.
Incredibly skilled.
If you're gonna go back and watch any fight, go back and watch that one straight up.
Yeah. Like I said, they're both two incredibly skilled fighters. They were both hot at one point, UFC darlings that wanted to be pushed. They ended up on hot streaks, and then, you know, fights happened.
Still there,
and then they faded out. But yeah, they're great skilled fighters. Love watching them perform. They're both very technical in their own way. So yeah, this looks like a technical masterpiece.
Well, I'll be honest with you, Hermanson, yeah, he's not so much technical as he is very dirty. And, you know, he's technical when he's fighting someone who's a little maybe less in the striking prowess, but Shabazian's just got great hands. He is a technical striker for sure. And, you know, but that's where Hermanson was really, he was catching a problem. Anytime there was a problem, it was because Shabazian was in the strikes. He was gauging with the distance. And Hermanson just was like, nah, I'm gonna make this dirty as shit. You know what I mean? He went in there.
But I find there's technicality in dirtiness, because there's an art to being a gritty fighter, gritty, hard-nosed fighter.
Yeah, but it's not technically associated with technicality. But yeah, I understand what you're saying. Hermanson, you know, he really he, as far as technicality on the ground, he was very technical in how his more strategic and technical in his approach to the grappling, and how he was able to keep Edmund. Sure. Yeah, he was able to keep Edmund in much better controlled positions. And I'm sure Edmund's last fight, I can't remember who it was against, but he was shown up in the grappling department. So I think, you know, Hermanson's team probably pulled a little gusto from that performance. So yeah, wonderful for Hermanson. You know, where do you see him go from here?
Keep going up the rankings. What's he ranked? That's the question. Is he even ranked? I mean, we can't see the rankings based off of how you pasted it, but I would imagine both of these guys have to still be ranked.
There's no rankings on the thing that I pasted.
Let me look at the.
But that's let's go ahead and do let's do our regular super unprofessional fucking UFC rankings lookup.
We need a Jamie. God damn it, we need a Jamie.
Podcast
Jamie
like
out there, please. Please. It never fails, right? There's always something.
It never fails. I mean, it's literally like we say it every week, and we just literally go, fuck that. Okay. So I mean, Hermansen's 7, and above him is Till and Brunson. He actually called out the winner of Till and Brunson.
I guess that makes sense logically.
But honestly, Jared Cannonier don't have a fight. I'd like to see that. I'd like to see Hermansen and Cannonier. Yeah. If Darren Till and Brunson are mixing it up, why don't you say, or let me go ahead and throw, you know what? Cannonier probably won't take the fight, if I'm being honest. I don't think he'd take the fight. So you know what? Let me go ahead and drop back. Uriah Hall and Jack Hermansen should be next. Absolutely.
Have they fought before? I feel like they've fought before.
I don't know. But 7 and 8, Uriah Hall just, he just
honestly, something in all sincerity, I like Jack Hermansen, but I think Uriah Hall should get the winner of Brunson too.
How about the winner of Hermansen Hall get the winner of Till Brunson?
I mean, it makes sense either way.
Yeah. I like interesting. Either way, it could go. It's very
and as for Shabazian, I like Gastelum versus Shabazian or Holland versus Shabazian.
Ooh, that's a good fight too. Yeah. We'll take that. We'll see what's going on. I mean, I could see him fighting Sean Strickland as well, and don't forget about Akhmedov. You know what I mean? Like he's a motherfucker.
Poor
as
Chris
well.
Weidman, man. Every time I see Chris Weidman, I just feel so fucking sad for the guy.
Man, he's doing good. He's fucking walking.
Is he?
Yeah, he's doing good. He's doing good, man. No. It's looking good for Chris Weidman right now. So keep him in your whatever. But it looks good. Looking better. I just
saw Paul Felder's name. Oh man.
Yeah, we'll talk about that at the end of the show. Moving on, Ricardo Ramos versus Bill Ajeo. It was a good fight. It was a real good. Ramos put it on him. He was just a little too fast, just a little too technical. Just a good unanimous decision win. But it wasn't overall. There wasn't very much to the fight. You know what I mean? It was a good back and forth. It was good to watch, but it wasn't like any like huge highlights. I don't think you didn't watch that, right?
I only caught the main event, unfortunately.
Okay, so you didn't catch any of the card?
No, man, I do. When you told me to watch the card, like I ended up FaceTiming my girl, and then after I got a FaceTime with her, I was just so exhausted. I like passed out on the couch while watching the basketball game. It's basketball playoff time, so my attention is a little diverted. If I'm being a little frank.
Yeah, no,
the Knicks are playing. It's bro. My Knicks are in the playoffs. I was focused on watching the Knicks. I had my.
Next week we'll do a podcast on the Knicks. Huh? We'll do a podcast on the Knicks next week.
That's a goddamn tragedy, if you ask me.
I saw. I mean, I don't think it's going too well because I keep seeing Angel just posting "fuck the Knicks."
You know what? Fuck Angel. How about that?
How about those apples, eh? How about those apples, eh? Angel, I got your back, bro. I love your rage.
Fuck the Nets.
He's just
fuck
like,
Angel.
Fuck the Knicks. Fuck the Knicks. I love
because he's a bandwagon Nets fan, bro. He was a Knicks fan, and he's like, I'm tired. I'm gonna go with the Nets. They're in Brooklyn. With the fucking Nets.
I can always rely on Angel to just straight up Facebook rage on some team or organization.
Basically, yeah, for real. Seriously.
All right, well, moving on. In the women's featherweight division, we had Norma Dermott versus Felicia Spencer. And so, a lot of people thought that Felicia Spencer was going to come out and take this, but Norma Dumont, man, she really put on a show. She really took it. She really took it to Felicia Spencer, and
this division's on the precipice of being closed. So they got something. Right? I said this division's on the precipice of being closed. So
yeah, no, straight up. I mean, I don't even know where you go with this after this. You know what I mean? I don't even know where these girls go after this.
Bellator.
Yeah. Obviously, Norma Dumont go on maybe face Cyborg. I don't. I'm not saying she's going to be cut or anything like that, but Felicia Spencer, she had a lot of hype behind her, but I think she's just running into some skilled skilled girls, in the UFC.
I feel like she's kind of plateaued. I saw that in the Cyborg fight. And, where do you go from here, especially with that division? I feel like Spencer's one of those girls that's kind of hit that plateau of, this is where I'm at, and I've got to go to the drawing board to try and make Cyborg-esque changes. But does she have that in her? Does the camp have that ability to be able to get her there? Those are the questions I think that you should probably be asking. But kind of just this is it right here. Where do you go?
Yeah, no, I don't know. Very good. I mean, like I said, Norma Dumont looked great. Felicia Spencer just was a step behind. She couldn't keep up with the grappling. She couldn't keep up with the striking, especially. So yeah, you know what I mean. Another one bites the dust. Norma Dumont advances, but I don't know where she goes because she's not even in a division that's ranked. Moving on to the heavyweight division. Man, Jared Vandera versus Justin Tafa, man, that was a fucking fight. You should go back and watch that too. It was a little bit of a back and forth, but man, it got bloody for Vandera there. It almost was like reminiscent a little bit of Vanderford.
That's where the blood from because when I caught the main event, I saw that the cage was splattered with blood, and so I remember Angel had asked in the chat, like, how was the thing? I was like, I saw that the cage had a lot of blood, so that's promising.
I believe there was blood in the Court Mcgee fight. Court Mcgee got cut. I think there was blood in the Ben Rothwell fight. I want to say there was blood in the Shabasian fight. There was blood in almost every fight, except for the previous two we talked about. But it was it was not a back and forth affair. At first it was, the first round was, but Vandera just caught up. He got Justin Tafa, and a couple times it looked like Justin Tafa was going to go down. You know what I mean? It looked like he could have went out.
Yeah.
And then I want to say in the late third round, Justin Tafa did catch Vandera with a punch that opened him up and winded up just like I said, there wound up being a lot more blood. But yeah, you know what I mean? Vandera is just, he's a guy, he's absolutely, he's very talented, and he's a younger heavyweight guy, which we don't have a lot right now. But I mean, where does he go? There's so many other guys he could fight, I don't even see him in the rankings.
Let's go to the rankings.
I'm on the rankings. He's not on the rankings.
I mean, it's tough to break into the heavyweight rankings, though, considering with some of the talent that's there, because it's all the talent in the heavyweight division, especially in the UFC, are all chiseled, tough,
give him Olenek,
hard-nosed veterans.
Olenek's the real gatekeeper into the top 10.
He really is, bro.
If you could be fucking top, hey, Olenek and Tybura, let's go. Come on, you know what I mean? Bro. Let's get this guy a fight.
Even off. Aspinall's on a bit of a uphill, so I don't know about Aspinall, but yeah, we could do even off. Could do. You could do Olenek. Olenek's faced a lot of young guys before, and he's put a lot of them down. He's Von Flute a lot of guys.
Von Flute a lot of motherfuckers. No, not Von.
Was it Von? No, not Von Flute.
It's a Ezekiel choke.
Ezekiel choke.
Yeah. Yeah, Ezekiel chokes everyone to death from the bottom, so it's crazy.
The Alexi choke.
It really should be the Olenek choke at this point.
It should be the Olenek choke. It really should be.
He's made it.
He's got what, like 6 guys or some shit with that? Like 6 dudes, 5 or 6 dudes with that shit, bro.
At least, yeah.
And the UFC alone.
In the U, I was going to say, in other organizations, I believe he has even more. So yeah,
crazy.
Yep. So all right, moving on. The women's strawweight, Carla Esparza versus Yang
so happy for Carla.
Dude,
so happy for Carla.
Honestly, I did not know how this was gonna go. I thought that Jan was maybe gonna come in because she'd been looking real good. She's been looking, especially in the hands. Carla had none of it. Nope.
No.
You watch this fight?
Carla's like, I don't get. No, I didn't, but
Jesus. Dude. Good Lord, man! I thought you did for a second. That's why you talked about it like you saw it. But dude, let me say this.
Regardless,
man, it was domination. Carla,
yeah,
dominated her in the wrestling. She put her on the ground. she was just like, stay right here. Just, I mean, that's literally what she did for 3 fucking rounds. It was awesome. It wasn't boring. You know, she didn't like grapple fuck her to death. Carla Esparza literally, I mean, she even went for a couple submissions, man. I mean, she looked great. The Cookie Monster fucking had all the cookies.
Full monster. Full monster.
She was a full monster that night, dude. Yeah. Yeah, Jan couldn't do anything. And she eventually got tired and got TKO'd to strikes. It was awesome. It was awesome. Yeah. What's next for Carla, man? You know what I mean? She's beating down the door. She's beating down the door. I mean, she's not beating
Joanna.
Oh, I want to see her fight Joanna. I think she can. I think she can beat Joanna, especially when it comes to grappling. Yeah. Who else do you give her? I mean, you either give her Joanna or the belt. I mean, you want to give her Mackenzie Dern and see how Mackenzie Dern does, because I actually want to see that now that I said that. Oh yeah.
I was just looking at
Mackenzie Dern versus Carla Esparza. I don't know if she wants to fight lower than her though. That's the only thing. Since she just took out the number 3. If I'm Carla, I want the belt, or I want Zaylee, or I want Joanna. But they're doing the rematch with Zaylee. So I say you give
Joanna's next.
Joanna's next, man.
They've already fought twice though, haven't they?
Yeah, I think so.
That's why.
Have they fought? Oh, you're right. They have fought twice, and Joanna's won both times.
Joanna dominated her to win the belt, and then they got a rematch later on, and Carla did better, but Joanna still was pretty convincingly ahead fight and won. So that's why I'm like, there's no real third. There's no interest for me for a third fight, even though I get your points. And this Carla, what she did against Jan, would do wonders against Joanna, who's kind of on a downtrend.
It's only one fight. They've only fought one time. Yep.
I swore they fought a second time. It was for the belt, and Joanna dominated her, pieced her up like fucking crazy.
Yeah,
then I guess that's a good. At that point, that becomes a grudge match. Like, can Esparza get her L back?
Well,
when
Joanna came in and when she fought Carla, she took the belt from Carla when Carla was the first champ. She was very young. She didn't have a lot of experience. And Joanna came in and murdered her and took the belt, man. You know what I mean? Like
Joanna yawned her.
She yawned her. Oh, even worse. Because honestly, I think if Carla would have allowed the stand up, I still think she would have had trouble from Jan. And I still think Joanna gives her trouble. But I mean, with the confidence she has right now, mean, I'd like to see what she would do to Joanna. And Joanna is not the Joanna who fought her when they got for the belt. You know what I'm saying? Joanna's susceptible to the takedown. She's susceptible to grappling. Carla's big. If Carla can grab her and put her on the ground and beat her like she did Jan, I could see her winning the fight. I mean, maybe the Cookie Monsters figured out, you know what I mean? Like, I got to really get on this grappling thing, you know what I mean? Stop trying to slug it out with some of these girls, because really, that's where she's always had a problem, is when she gets to stand up.
The test is going to be, I mean, I'm confident. I agree with you. I'm confident that she would be able to take down Joanna and see what she could do on the ground. Can she get close enough to Wei Li if she fought Wei Li? I honestly would be on a negative on that. I don't know how she can get that close to be able to get Wei Li down. If she can get Wei Li down, we don't really see much of Wei Li on the ground. So that would be interesting to see. But the question is, can she break that impregnable striking defense that Wei Li has? And by striking defense, I mean she throws punches and keeps you away from her. So
I don't think so. But we would definitely. I'd love to see that. I would love to see that. Wei Li's a little bit of a different animal when it comes to that.
Hasn't Esparza beat Rose as well at some point? I feel they have fought. I don't remember the result of that.
Yeah, I don't know. But moving on, let's move on to the heavyweight. Carla Esparza won that, by the way. They fought in the tough finale. That's right. Remember, Rose was supposed to be the champion. Rose was supposed to be the champ. And they were trying to push Rose back in, and Carla upset that.
Yeah.
Wait. And
there's some stories.
Great story. I love this
15. I dig it.
Yeah. No, let's do it. All right, moving on. In the bantamweight division, you got Rob Font versus Cody Garbrandt, and the storyline coming in. Rob Font, the up and comer, great footwork, great striking, great grappling, all around MMA guy. But it's Cody Garbrandt's. This is Cody Garbrandt's comeback now. This is Cody Garbrandt's climb back to the title. This is his rejuvenation.
And no matter what you want to say about Cody Garbrandt, he is electric. Fuck that.
Fuck what your storyline is.
Pa que tú lo sepas, yo soy boricua. That's a little Puerto Rican. Puerto Rican.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah, Chris.
Eat my fucking jab all goddamn night. Eat it all night,
bro. Cody just stood there. He just stood there, bro. Like
he looked like he didn't know what the fuck he was doing.
You can't count the amount of times.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, after getting popped with a jab.
Look,
I mean, credit to Cody's chin.
Credit to Cody's chin. But we're not in the octagon. Obviously, that thing had some pepper on it that Cody just couldn't see coming.
He got busted up. Cody got busted up, and credit to Cody's chin. Cody stayed up.
I was surprised. I was.
There were some instances where he looked hurt, but at the same time, he wasn't like we've seen Cody Garbrandt hurt. He lost 3 straight fights by knockout coming into this fight. Yeah, and so I think this is his 4th defeat in a row. He made it to the end.
No. His last fight was.
Did he win?
It was the Almeida knockout.
Oh yeah. And everyone's like, he's back. He's back. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he is back considering he didn't get knocked out after Rob Font put those hands on him. I mean, yeah, dude.
Oh, I don't know. After, Rob Font didn't surprise me in doing what Rob Font's good at. I was surprised that Cody Garbrandt wasn't more in the fight. It's not one of, I don't like to say that it's one of those things where it's like, it was Cody Garbrandt's fight to lose, but he definitely was not in the fight in the way that we've seen him before. He wasn't, he said, everybody's like telling me how to fight and not to slug it out. But I mean, he didn't even slug it out. I mean, he wasn't even a shell of himself. It was an odd performance by Cody Garbrandt. Maybe there's something going on. Maybe the wheels have fallen off the bus. After you get beat like that by a guy, by Rob Font, I mean, yeah, I don't know what they do with Cody Garbrandt. Obviously, they're not cutting him, but I mean, I honestly, if he gets knocked out or if he doesn't win another fight, I don't know. Definitely
was Sun Sao, not Sun Sao.
Huh?
You mentioned it was a Sun Sao that who he won. He knocked out. You mentioned it was
yeah, I said it was it was. Anyway, yeah. I mean, Cody's got to get some momentum here going. But that was an ugly loss. You know what I mean? It was a real ugly loss to a up and comer.
Give him. I mean, there's options, bro. You can give him Edgar. You can give him a Rice.
Sure.
For Cody, and I mean for Rob Font, they're gonna do unless they do an interim belt with Jan and Sandhagen. It's gonna be Jan and Aljo again in the rematch of that fucking crazy debacle that happened. So Sandhagen wants to wait. But I mean, Sandhagen wants to wait, and he feels he deserves it. I think he deserves it as well. But I mean, with Rob Font there, you have the perfect number 1 contender fight for a major pay-per-view.
Yeah,
right there. Sandhagen versus Font, winners had a shot after Jan and Aljo. I honestly think that unless the fight is a super duper close, fantastic fight, there's not going to be a rubber match between Aljo and Jan.
Yeah,
after they fight again. So that's perfect. That works out perfectly fine right there.
Yes,
and for like I said, Garbrandt, you get Aldo, you get Moraes, you get Edgar. Those 3 guys. Munoz is, what's crazy is, Munoz fucking killed Garbrandt, and yet Munoz is ranked 8 in retrospect. Dominic Cruz is 9th. Dagashvili's 10. I mean, he's not going down like that.
Rankings aren't about skills or wins
anymore.
I mean,
we talked about this. You can hear my disappointment in my in my soul.
I don't mean to piss in your Cheerios. It's just when I hear you even reading the rankings, I'm just like, yeah, well, it is what it is. But all right, enough fight card talk.
Bro, Paul Felder retired, dude.
Paul Felder retired. Yes. Well,
Paul Felder retired.
He retired some time ago, but I think he just kind of made it super official, right?
Official, yeah. He came back for that one fight for the main event. He went out in a blaze of glory.
That's right.
And then now he's just like, fuck it. And he's like, I'm coming back. I'm signing a new contract. And then
he lost that fight, though, right?
He lost the fight, but he stepped up for the promotion when they had nobody on like 5 days notice or something. Cut the weight, made the weight. Which, by the way, in that fight, I don't think, something, the one fight you didn't pick up on Bellator was Darrion Caldwell losing. Darrion Caldwell lost in the co-main event of that fight of the card on Friday to a guy who's missed. He beat him for his only title defense when he was a champion. This guy, I think his name is Hero or whatever his name is. He's missed weight 2 times in a row. Like, dude, if you miss weight 2 times in a row, I think you should be released. Dude, no, there should be severe punishments for missing weight 2 times in a row. Guy missed weight 2 times in a row, ended up beating Caldwell. So I digress.
He said like 30% of the purse is not enough for these guys. You got to fucking go 50, 60%. And I agree. Not only that, but I think automatically when you have a weight, when you have I understand, I guess that happens already, but anytime you have a weight miss, I think you automatically have to submit. Like you got to give up your purse. You know what I'm saying? And you don't get a win bonus. And I think if you
well, I mean, that happens. They don't get the win bonus.
If you do miss weight, well, then your opponent should get the win bonus. If you miss weight and you win the fight anyway, I think your opponent should get your win bonus. I think that's fair because I mean, you're basically.
So is that like you're saying like 50% or the win bonus, whichever is bigger?
No, I'm saying no. Fuck that. You can get your 30% taken out, but if you, like you said, even if you miss weight, then you're not entitled to a win bonus. So then the promotion should give the win bonus that you would have got and give it to your opponent since you came in overweight. And that's, I mean, say what you want to say, it's an advantage. You're basically going in with an agreed advantage in the fight, right? I mean, you're going in with an agreed advantage over your opponent that your opponent has agreed to. Because now once you don't make weight, fight contracts have to be amended. You have to adjust the weight contract. Now you have to adjust the contract, and so you have the ability for the opponent to say, "I'm not taking the fight. Fuck that."
Yeah. God forbid you severely injure somebody because you are a pound over, 2 pounds over. That's it. You're fucked.
Or also too, you have to drain yourself to fucking however much, and this guy does it. I mean, how many times have we seen that? Where you see a guy who doesn't make the weight, he misses by like 2 or 3 pounds, but then he wins the fight and he's all happy after. He's like, "Oh, I just
but you're the one.
Shut the fuck up! Don't even give this guy an interview. You know what I mean? Like,
you're the guy.
Don't even interview this guy.
Meanwhile, the other dude like fucking dehydrated himself, probably vomited 6 times to make the weight. Just because he couldn't cut that last half pound, and he just struggled. I'm not being
petty.
He did it.
It's fair. I'm not being petty by saying that.
It should be.
It's fair because you've got you can't just have like you're setting what's happening right now is setting a precedence to encourage it. Because especially for these fighters who are making a couple $100,000 a fight to show, they don't care about 30%. That's less money that they have to fucking pay in taxes. So to them, it's not really that big of a deal. So you have to do something. You know what I'm saying? You got to do something. It would be one thing if they got the money, had to pay the taxes, and had to get it out, right? That's not how it works. They get that money taken out, and then it's not included in their income. So to them, they're losing 30%, but they're more like losing 15 to 10 after taxes. So
maybe,
you know what I'm saying? Like, really, it's not that much. It's not that much. You got to do something now to discourage the where it has to be like, well, if you're not going to make the weight, again,
don't take the fight.
Don't take the fight. But again, this just rolls back to previous conversations of the fucking weight system is just atrocious, and it's just it needs to be overhauled. And this is a good example why
But we digress. I wanted
We
to bring up
digress.
the fact that, at the end of the day, Paul Felder, is a mini legend of the sport. I don't know if if he'd be considered a Hall of Famer, but goddamn, was he entertaining and fucking.
Yeah.
He was great.
Of the modern
I love watching Paul Felder fight. I mean, but it's tough though. He never really won the. What are his stats in terms of like win bonuses and things of that nature?
Let me ask you a question.
I don't think he got challenged for the belt.
No, but do you just consider one's fights, wins loss record versus one's achievements and win-loss records versus also what he's also doing in the promotion currently as a commentator and analyst working for the sport?
That's separate, I think, because you don't, when you induct somebody in the Hall of Fame,
you're inducting them. I'm just asking. I'm not saying either way, but yeah, I mean.
No, I think I don't think you include what he's doing now, because what he does now is fabulous. But I don't think, in terms of a Hall of Fame recommendation, it's not a Hall of Fame for overall contribution to the sport. It's a Hall of Fame based off of your achievements in the sport. That's really what a Hall of Fame is. For most people, it's about your achievements. They have different sections of the Hall of Fame where it may be for contributions, but for someone like Paul Felder, he should be primarily thought of for his achievements. And he has achieved a great deal, but I don't think that he's achieved to the level that would make him Hall of Fame worthy, unless maybe they put like him and Mike Perry, that fight from like 2016 or something. They put that fight in the Hall of Fame, maybe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Something like that.
I'd like to see, it'd be, speaking of Hall of Fame, I think it would be, and we can get off after this, but I think it would be cool to see ESPN do like an MMA Hall of Fame, or even in the future.
I don't think they're that committed to it.
Not now, but I mean, in the future, it would be cool to see that, or maybe even, I don't know. I just think it would be cool to see like or even in boxing. I mean, how's boxing Hall of Fame done up? Is that all by organization?
No, it's a International Boxing Hall of Fame, and they take they get a what's called pool of people. It's similar like any other sport. They get a pool of people. Sure. The Boxing Writers of America will vote on who goes in the Hall of Fame, and they induct like 5 or 6 people into the International Boxing Hall of Fame. They get their rings, and
everybody gets a vote. Certain people get the vote, and yeah.
Right. So that's that's how the International Boxing Hall of Fame.
They should do that for MMA.
So it's just like any other legitimate sport. Sure.
You want to start it?
I mean, I would love to join one. Yeah.
Let's start it.
Yeah. One more thing I guess it's not really a positive note before we end the podcast, but I did wanted to shout out. I know you brought up mental health and suicide in your rant against Joshua Fuckhole, and it's the 1-year anniversary. I don't know if you know about this, but there was a wrestler, Hannah Kimura, and she 1 year ago today, or yesterday rather, as we are talking now, was basically cyberbullied, and she committed suicide at the tender age of 22, I think. 22 or 23, I don't recall now. But I guess I wanted to end with the fact that the saying that was out there today, is we'd much rather hear your story than hear your eulogy. And so I guess for anybody out there that's listening that may be struggling, there's always someone somewhere that will listen to you and listen to your problems and be there for you. Don't ever think you're alone, no matter how alone you may be, because there's always help somewhere. And, even in your darkest situation, there's a light somewhere, even if you're struggling to find it. So you don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to for that. We mentioned, the cry for help. If you seriously need it, don't be afraid, because there's no shame in saying that you need help, and, try and find that strength within yourself is the positive message I wanted to leave for today.
Oh yeah. That's a great note to end on. Thanks for that.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Hannah.
All right. Well, for MMA Marks, I'm Andy. This is Ethan. Thanks for joining us this week, guys. I appreciate it. And we'll be back next week and covering more cards, covering more fights, Bellator, UFC, One Rising. Here we go. Tune in and we'll bring it to you.
Sayonara, minasan.
So.